So what we are going to cover in the SD-WAN, we are going to cover the introduction, after that setup, then we are going to talk about the equal cost uh, equal cost multipath load balancing, then we are going to talk about policy routing, then we are going to configure SD-WAN in using GUI, and then we are going to talk about SD-WAN SLA, and we are going to see the configuration as well. Then we are going to talk about that how we can use the CLI in FortiGate firewall to manage the SD-WAN components, right? And after that, we are going to talk about the FortiGate manager, and through FortiGate manager, how we can manage the SD-WAN configuration that we are going to see. And after that, we are going to talk about the sessions that is going to create within the FortiGate firewall. And then, then the core component of SD-WAN, we are going to talk about the VPN, where we are going to discuss about that what all the cryptography, what is the symmetric, asymmetric cryptography, right? We are going to talk about that the protocol which is required to establish the VPN, right? Or terminology of the VPN we are going to talk over there. And then we are going to talk about that how we can maintain the redundancy using the VPN, right? And further we are going to talk about the advanced VPN part, where we are going to talk about the hub and spoke. We are going to talk about the AD VPN, which is also called auto discovery VPN, right? And then we are going to talk about the hard headquarter firewall SD-WAN, DC firewall SD-WAN, branch office firewall SD-WAN. So we are going to talk about all these things. And then we are going to talk about the VPN command. So this is the overall syllabus which we are going to cover, right? So we are going to start with the today's part, where we are going to talk about that the introduction of SD-WAN, where we are going to understand SD-WAN component, SD-WAN design and principle, SD-WAN basic terminology. We are going to talk about SD-WAN overlay and underlay. So these things we are going to discuss, and if time would allow, we will talk about the SD-WAN initial lab setup. So let's go with this. Meanwhile, if you have any question, please let me know. All right, so let me just share the slide. Okay, so let's talk about what is SD-WAN and how SD-WAN works. So SD-WAN is the solution which connects user to any application, whether that application reside within the data center or over the cloud, right? So it is one of the connectivity solution, right? If I talk about the overall SD-WAN solution, so this is one of the connectivity solution which allow a user to connect to the application which reside within the data center or over the cloud, right? This is one of the uh, you know mechanism which intelligently determine what is the best path uh, reach to the particular application, right? So you know, as you know, that router also can determine that what is the best path, right? But using the SD-WAN, the determination for the best path is more simpler way, because if we talk about the traditional network and SD-WAN network, so there are multiple difference which we are going to talk later, right? But let's say that it is intelligently going to define that what is the best path to reach particular destination, right? And to choose the best path, it take the decision on multiple things. It talks about jitter, it talks about the packet loss, it talks about the latency. Okay, so that means it is just using intelligent component. Based on that, SD-WAN is going to decide that what is the best path to reach particular destination. Below are few characteristics that you can see into the SD-WAN. First, it is application awareness. So in a traditional WAN, traditional WAN is not able to identify that what is the application traffic, right? So if traditional WAN is not able to recognize the application traffic, so you cannot prioritize the traffic for a specific application or a specific type of traffic, right? But as SD-WAN is an intelligent, right? It is able to identify the application. Based on that, you can prioritize the packet, right? It provides multipath control, so there is a not a single path to reach any destination. You have a multiple path using which you can transfer the traffic from one location to another location. And third, the important thing it is zero touch deployment. That means fully orchestration you can achieve through the SD-WAN. Just allow me a minute. So sorry. Sorry guys, we can continue. So using the SD-WAN, if you want to do fully orchestration for your network deployment, that you can do fully orchestration as well. Okay, so through the centralized management console, you can manage your WAN devices where you can do the zero touch provisioning on those devices, right? So for example, if you want to deploy policy, if you want to deploy routing, if you want to deploy performance metrics, you can deploy using zero touch deployment, right? So uh, also SD-WAN do the virtualization for multi-connection, okay, which is providing the streamlined network management. So what is the meaning of this line? So basically what is happening, if you have your data center in this location, and if you have another branch offices in different location, right? So basically you can use multiple link to connect these data centers, right? So you can connect through this way, or you can use the VPN link as well to connect to this data center. Okay, so you can use multiple links. So see, let's say this is your MPLS link, this is your normal broadband link, and you have this is your VPN link, right? So what you can do, you can combine them together, right? And you can say that this whatever the link is going to create, you can say this is the SD-WAN link. This is SD-WAN link. So through this SD-WAN link, what it is doing, it is just creating virtualized connection, virtualized multiple connection to reach to a particular destination. So if there is any connection is down, right, your traffic would still take third path through this virtualized link, because this virtualized link is considered as a one link, right? You can aggregate multiple interfaces into this link. So for example, you have one interface, let's say this is Ethernet 1, this is Ethernet 2, Ethernet 3, like sorry, VPN is a virtualized over Ethernet 3. So what you can do, you can link them together into the SD-WAN. That's what the meaning of this line. So how many multiple member you can put into this SD-WAN link? Maximum you can put up to 255 and minimum you can have one. So at least one member is required into this SD-WAN link, right? Now, what is the key constraint? So key constraint is if you are using VDOM feature in the FortiGate manager, so in FortiGate only one SD-WAN interface you can put into a particular VDOM. So what is the virtual um, domain? So if you have a one of the virtual domain, right? And in this virtual domain, if you want to create two SD-WAN link, that is not possible. Only one you can put. The other is a maximum 4,000 rules for health monitor you can write, not more than that. And member interface must be dedicated exclusively to the SD-WAN, right? So whatever the member interface you want to add into the SD-WAN, you need to make sure that member interface should not be used anywhere. That member interface should be free. Then only it can be added into the SD-WAN. Okay, I would talk about that. What is the SD-WAN zone or link later. But for now, just understand that that is just kind of aggregated link, which is just virtual, not a physical one. Right. So what it is going to do, the SD-WAN is going to consolidate your physical connection, right? And it is going to create underlays network, right? And on the top of that, it is doing the monitoring, load balancing, health checks, right, to the links. Right. So let's go further. Okay, so SD-WAN is divided into zone, right? So in we have um, you know what is a zone basically? So basically, zone is nothing but uh, that is the virtual link, right? And for that virtual link, we are going to say that those virtual links belongs to a particular zone. For example, we can say that that zone is a SD-WAN zone, and member interface is going to assign into that zone. Okay. And what is the use of the zone? Because the zone is further is going to use into the policy, or when you are going to define a static route, or when you are going to define SD-WAN rule, at that time these zone are going to be used, right? And why this is happening? Because this is a logical indicator. Because if you have a firewall, right, and on the firewall if you have three interfaces, and for these three interfaces if you created SD-WAN zone like WAN 1, let's say you have created WAN 1 as a zone. So when you are going to create a policy, so in the policy you are going to define source as a WAN 1, not all these three interface, but you are going to define if the source is a source is X, destination is a WAN 1, then traffic should be allowed or denied. So there you can use the zone concept, right? When you are going to define route, for example, if you want to create a default route that if this firewall want to go to internet, right, on this particular network, what is the next hop? So in the next hop you can say next hop interface is a WAN 1, WAN 1. So on the route static route you can use. Same way you can use in the rule as well. So for example, you are if you want to do the performance monitoring or SLA, at that time you can use this zone concept. What zone is going to do? It is allowing you to group the interfaces, right, into the logical unit. So you can group the interfaces into the logical units. So that is the zone.